All right, everybody. Good to see the stadium. Let's show.
Yep. So here's a quick view of the stadium. Up, Master White. We're doing hey. This is ITF America Coaches Chat. We're doing
awesome.
Recording.
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, Canada in the house. We've been. They gave me a bottle of water this morning.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was sitting in the rain. We got a bottle of water.
Gotta have them.
Yeah, got some members of my team.
All right.
Here. Just saying hi. Oh, we got Lauti Rizzo
All
from
right.
Argentina. Hi. It's ITF America Coaches Chat. So it's oficial for YouTube. Yeah. We got that's one of the best things about World Cup is you get to hang out with family from everywhere. Lauti's team. Lauti has been working with some of my guys on their footwork. He's the one that you see on the videos that we post. So that's his specialty is he's got that new school footwork that we're going to talk about.
That's right.
That you and I just talked about.
Awesome.
And that's his specialty. So we're trying to take all that information in and evolve our fighting to this level.
Well, now that we've just started recording, why don't you tell me your impression again of the experience so far and about the kind of number of competitors and kind of breakdown on that.
Absolutely. Well, Master Young, you were here, I believe, in 1999. Yes.
Yes.
And it is the exact same stadium, the exact same conditions as when you were here in 1999.
Yeah, it was actually not 1999. It was 2009.
2009.
Yep.
But the stadium is as it was. Nothing has changed. It's great. There's 1,750 competitors. Of those competitors, the breakdown is 1,200 Argentinians.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, this is their house.
It is their house. It was their house back in 2009 as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Their involvement, just the fans and everything. It was a lot of energy, real passionate energy. I loved it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we've got there's going to be some team patterns later today, so I know that's going to get dynamic. But we've got the U.S. contingent, I believe, is the fourth biggest contingent. So I believe Chile, Canada, and then us. There are quite a few countries from Europe, but they're smaller teams.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's just that, as we've talked about a little bit, this pandemic and the economics of things and how expensive it is to travel and do this type of event. It's so awesome that you guys get to go and do that. But that's interesting sets of numbers for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things. Like Veronica for the first time was competing as a U.S. competitor at a World Cup in her home, where she was born, and she was a flag bearer. So
that's great.
It was both nerve-wracking and simultaneously exhilarating. It's
sure.
For the first time. So she really enjoyed that experience. I'm glad that we could provide her with that.
Yeah, so I understand you have you put together like a WhatsApp, and you've got all the coaches in USA kind of talking to each other. I know it's a club event, so there's a lot of different clubs. So how's that working out?
It's working out awesome. We've been able to really kind of come together. A lot of the coaches, we're all trying to cover each other's athletes. If they need coverage, there are, if people are going to go train, we're always posting, hey, we're going to be out at XYZ spot. If you guys want to meet with us to do whatever, like my group is going to go out and practice their prearranged, and some of my guys are going to hit pads in a little while. So we'll put that out on the chat. And there are a couple of ITF USA clubs that are represented. We're trying to work with them as much as they can to provide, as much as we can to provide them support, especially because in many cases, this may be their first experience with this kind of environment. And they're largely all alone. There's one club, which is JSK's club. There's two reps. Two people that are being,
club. Yeah,
exactly. In Arizona. And then there's one athlete from Fit and Kick who originally, I believe, was Argentinian, and he's going to be coached by, I believe, somebody from his former club. We did meet him the first day on Monday during opening ceremony. Nice
So
young
he
man.
registered under the USA or under ITF USA as a member of Fit and Kick. He's Argentinian, in the States
Correct.
currently. Right on. That's good.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been good. But, again, we're really trying to support each other. We're getting a feeling for each other's coaching styles and that kind of stuff, which is all good and important, especially as a member of the coaches committee. We have three members of the coaches committee here. So
Uh-huh.
we have Mr. Diarmas, we have Mrs. Cotit, and myself. And so we're kind of getting a good flavor for where everyone is at,
Yeah.
which is good because we're gonna be grooming people and setting the criterion for coach development. That's one of our
That's right.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really important. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I think we certainly should have a confab and go through everything that you've learned, get a lessons learned effort that we could even share with anyone else who's interested, if they're wanting to be part of the coaches contingent for world championships coming up as well. So I watched Mateo's fight.
Mhm.
Yesterday, you posted on Facebook, one of the things about the
Did,
World Cup is that
did you
it's
get to did you get to see both of them, like the first versus the second?
I only saw the first one. I only watched the first one. I
Okay.
think you posted both, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I watched the first one. I'll watch the second one. But the first one, the thing I noticed, of course, was that his ability to continue to score while moving back and moving angularly, as a counterattacker, is really seems to be comfortable with that. But the other thing that always strikes me is, man, these rounds are long. A 3-minute round in the
Yeah,
World Cup is
for
different
sure.
than what I'm so used to 2 minutes. So
Yeah, it's its own animal for sure.
it is.
Uh,
You got to
you
be in
know,
better
um,
shape, and you have to do you just have a different time scale, and you may not have the opportunity to take a break and get some feedback from your coach as well. It's kind of tough.
well, that's exactly right. As a coach, you're somewhat limited, and you've got to rely a little bit more on you on the fight IQ and the understanding of everything of your athlete. You're entrusting them because you're less able to make adjustments. You can only kind of shout in cues from the corner, and
Yeah.
sometimes your shouting gets you shushed. I got shushed once. Um, you know, uh, it is what it is, but it was fine. Um, you know, there's a large disparity, as there always is, in the consistency of refereeing, and sometimes that can play a role in a match. Um,
So tell me about
Whereas
Mateo's
you,
second match. You mentioned a couple of things
yeah,
before. I'd like to hear what your impression of that and what happened.
yeah. So there were a couple things. Mateo received three warnings. He was in the lead for about the first 2 minutes, handily. I believe he was either 3-0 or 3-1. And he suffered a third warning. Two of the three, one of the warnings he went out of bounds. Absolutely. The other two, I've watched the video a few times and I just cannot figure out what the two warnings were.
Hmm.
So it's hard to coach it up, even as a review. It's hard to, okay, here's what we did. Here's how we avoid that. But it did influence, he ended up losing one of the umpires
Mm-hmm.
after the third warning. So it kind of neutralizes that lead. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes, I believe it was 2-0-1. So it's a much tighter match. And towards the end of the fight, he made one mistake. He had his elbow. We had been training to keep the elbow down to block the side kick, kind of check that side kick. And he raised it up, and the other fighter took advantage of it,
Mm-hmm.
and evened out the fight. And then with about 8 seconds left, Mateo realized that he needed to try to take some risk, try to take this fight. And he did a kind of a leaping back fist with his lead. And the other guy leaned back and side kicked and pulled ahead, and that was the end of the fight. And not taking anything away from the other fighters. Perfect counter for the right technique. We need to work on how we set that up. But again, this was his first go round. I mean, obviously he has some high level sparring experience from ITF and WACO, but this was his first World Cup. So he was very happy with his performance. He was not upset. He understood immediately of the two small mistakes that he made.
Yeah.
but they're small. At this level, small mistakes can be an enormous impactor in the fight.
Yeah, just like we were
Um,
discussing this, that if you get a tie at the near the end, maybe, and if it's not, maybe that's not a moment of urgency. Maybe you should just like, we're gonna go to the tie. It's okay. I've got another round and I can take it. I can take it then, as opposed to putting yourself at risk because you feel I have to do something to win because you're aware of this, you're aware of that score, and your coach is aware, you're aware. And so maybe, the lesson is, well, hey, no, I'm with tie at this point. If I got another round, we're all starting a clean slate and we can do it again, as opposed to like, I gotta go. Or
yep.
the setup, like you said, if we're gonna go with urgency because we're down, or tied or down, how do we set that urgency up so we don't eat that count, just that one, the other, make your opponent want to do that, and you get to give them that fadeaway side. It's just
That's
it's
right.
interesting. It's so tight.
There's a great YouTube video, and I know you've seen it, of Katja Solovey. And she's behind, and there's like 3 seconds left, and she throws a lead leg side kick and runs, and she gets chased, and it's all a bait. It's again, she's one step ahead. Throw pulls, she does a switch back kick, scores, wins the world championship.
There you go.
Just like that, the score changes.
Yeah.
And it happens that fast. But again, it's an experience, a ring IQ, a training. All of those aspects have to come together simultaneously, especially in World Cups where there's so little adjustment as a coach you can make.
Yeah, it's too short, it's too quick. Well,
yep.
You mentioned something in our discussion before we started recording, and that was about how specialists, there seems to be specialists, and you mentioned 2 competitors that ended up winning in their divisions. Want to go over that again real quick? It'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you and I were competing, we kind of had to do everything, so we were pattern, sparring, breaking, specialty. We had to do it all. Yeah, granted, we may have floated more towards one particular discipline, but we kind of had to do it all. And now we have these specialists, pattern specialists, sparring specialists, breaking specialists. It's the Wesley Philippes of the world that are, best in the world at what they do, but there's only one thing that they do.
That's right.
So what we had this morning in the 18 to 35 division for 4th to 6th time, you had Honey Ospina, world champ, win her division. And then in the 36 to 45 division, Sylvia won, and I believe that Sylvia won the head-to-head. And Ariela Figueroa got 3rd, with Honey being 2nd at the last World Championships.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you've got these extraordinarily talented, sounds like the Argentinians. I don't know if you can hear them on the mic. No. Can you hear the chanting? I don't know if it's coming through.
It isn't coming through. Maybe you're focusing on it's getting your mic. It's mic'd to you pretty well, but I know what the chants are. I know.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
There's been plenty of drums and horns. The Mexicans have wrestling masks. It's a
lucha libre.
Lucha libre. Exactly right.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that the energy is there and positivity is happening. You guys seem to be doing well. And I heard that we got a couple of medals. Finally got a couple of medals for the USA.
Yeah, we got yesterday. We got our first 3 bronze and 1 silver. Today we've got some sparring, I believe, in the afternoon, and hopefully we'll take a little bit from there. And then the veterans start tomorrow. Seniors and veterans. Some seniors are going today. And it'll go all the way through Saturday. There's going to be team patterns also going on this afternoon on top of everything else, and then team sparring. I believe I've got to go back to the schedule, but I believe some is Friday night and some is Saturday morning. With it wrapping up with some individual sparring, like Veronica spars Saturday mid-morning, and that's a huge division. I believe there's 2 pools.
Yeah,
there's like 52 competitors.
Yeah.
Those divisions will go on for a while.
They do. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The different sections, different mats. They work through a whole again, then they finally bring them together. Yeah. It's a long road. Long road to the top, but you know, you guys are all well trained. It's good to see you there. Thank you for doing it twice, our interview here.
No, I can talk to you all day, Master Young.
Well, I appreciate taking the time out from what you're doing, and I look forward to getting together and confabbing about where the next steps are for USA Taekwondo here, and how we can improve ourselves and get better for the World Championships coming up.
Yeah, well, you know, these are always so important because you get to see what's going on with the types of fighters or in patterns as far as sharpness goes, or power, or you know, you're talking about patterns or sparring. What is the, again, you and I were kind of a kickboxing toe-to-toe style sparring. That's how we came up. It's a totally different game now. The contact, although I will tell you that at least from my experience here, you and I being old school guys, the level of contact you would be very satisfied with.
Well, I mean, this is the thing that's troubling, and as we've talked about before, this is the biggest problem that we have in our competition sparring, and that is contact. How do we deal with the differences that we have with a lot of disparity in judging? You know, people being more concerned about concussions, which is a legitimate safety issue. We want to have a long life in Taekwondo practice and training. We don't want to have people have to go to the hospital, you know. And at the same time, this is a martial art. And we got to hit people. You got to know how to get hit, know how to be resilient to that, know how to respond. This is a critical part of our training as a self-defense art. And that's why I want to see that. I want to see it. So I figured it would be there, especially being in Argentina. I know they like to play. You know, so
but you know, the umpires, the centers at least seem to be allowing the level of contact that you would hope for at an event like this. You know, not trying to control the fight so much from that center position. Not that it doesn't happen at all, but they are letting the contact go. And none of it is extraordinary. It's what you would expect from a well-trained ITF competitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, any last thoughts before we finish for now, and you can get back to the event?
Not offhand. I mean, we're gonna do some training this afternoon. So we're gonna reach out to the other coaches, see who wants to get out there. We've got also a bunch of competitors that are going this afternoon, so we'll all be sharing duties as needed. This is, I believe, the first glimpse into what the future of ITF coaches in America is going to look like, with the WhatsApp chats and the ability to work together versus being kind of on your own island, only worrying about your own people. Everybody's trying to cheer for each other, that kind of thing. It's really important.
Oh, yeah. I think that's going to be, this is the base level reconstruction. And
for sure.
And hopefully it's all going in the positive way, and will not only result in more unity amongst our team as a country, but also better success. I mean, success. We're hoping.
I mean, I think they go hand in hand, right? The tighter we can bring everybody in a very large country, the more familiarity everybody has with each other, the more trust that they've built.
Yeah, absolutely.
The better this is going to work for everybody. Yeah. And we should be at the top. We should be in those top, 5 teams.
I agree. I think that our goal is a top 10er, and then top 5er, and then hey, maybe we're hosting a world championship here in the United States, or a World Cup for that matter again, and having a lot of players. Yeah.
We got Jose.
Hello, sir. Hello.
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
All these guys. He's competing in patterns on Thursday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
excellent.
So
wish you the
we've
best,
got
Mr. Iglesias. Wish you the best.
Yeah. So all these, I guess everybody's grabbing lunch now because the rings are closing down.
Yeah.
So
lunchtime.
Yeah, it's lunchtime. But I already had mine, so I could talk to you.
Well, it's been a good discussion, and thank you so much for taking the time to do so. And to everybody, I said hello, and that wish them all the best, and continue to do the best, to stay positive, and enjoy these experiences because they're fleeting, they're important.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, it'll be gone before you know it.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. All right, sir.
Well, take care, and Taekwon, and we'll see you again. We'll see you again soon, and hopefully look forward to a couple more social media posts. We'll get those shared out and let people know what's happening.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.